the beginning, and this is scattered all through the book. I'm not going to contextualize everything. They're just moments of poetic possibility that never realize themselves. They deliberately never realize themselves because they're between appear and disappear. So they almost come to the place where they need to appear when you realize they can't happen. The anatomy of our longing vanished and reigned. The true subject of the photograph, you must continually remind yourself is not there. It's not the visible that you merely think you see, but the invisible, what has been repressed and what will not be written. Because memory is in there, eaten by light. Sometimes, beneath blankets, beneath a quilt, beneath stars and moon, the writing of a sentence erases a loved one. Words entangle her body and memories, her touch disguised beneath letters descending blindly into the throat of the night. Maya dreams with her tongue. Pomegranate seeds between her teeth, persimmon flesh between her fingers, between her knees held tight, her thighs bruised and tired, a stray thumb near her lips presses. There is nothing in between, a thumbprint, stain. Speaking in the tongue of her mother, Maya's soft voice became the song of a sparrow lost among the tree branches. Other women from those same hills in Ben Din spoke in the tender spirit of butterfly wings. Veiled whispers beneath quilts, the need to survive in quiet movement, the longing to continue their stories. Each story went of flight through the trees, to the plains, to the rivers, to the oceans. In the loud streets of San Francisco, people ridicule her gentle voice, a voice that releases words with such care that the air remains still around her mouth. They say her savage mouth will never understand their language. Her teachers demand that she speak like a human. Children in her class face boats made out of newspaper on her tiny school desk. It is darker than any darkness when her family pushes their unsteady boat into the water. Inside this darkness, they fear lighting their bamboo lanterns, and when their eyes close to sleep, to dream, to collapse, they are haunted by a fear that they will live inside this darkness for the rest of their lives. This water, all this water, this ocean, all this water must end, but her family, so quiet, can no longer find their faith. Only splinters in their fingers and these persistent small pains in their strong feet. They want to disappear beyond the dark night, fall off some unknown horizon, and they fear arriving as much as they fear drowning. They speak to each other through the whispered songs of those nearly forgotten sparrows, so their voices are not heard, ever. They dream the only dream they can remember, a dream of becoming birds. In some other world far away where birds are not heard, where birds are not listened to, an uncle holding paper names tight in a small fist waits on dry land. A lot of the story is about a travel from Vietnam to America, and there's a lot about the Vietnam War throughout the book. Be careful around those who claim to know the history of fire and yet remain unafraid of rain. Maya steps close to the edge of the river. Her body nearly falls. All through the foothills of Vietnam, she tells Doug, there are people whose skin is made of rain. Maya's body waits for the sun to vanish behind clouds, her fingers, childish and curious, pulling blackberries from a bush. Some say such people are only the people of myth, of old stories dropped along the way, the wet underside of river rock. Her eyes witness the appearance of these words, her breath, her dreaming. These people say this as if a myth is not true, as if the people of a myth are not real. But I have met these people. I have touched the water of their skin. I have listened to their damp voices, their whispers, their murmuring sentences. Maya scribbles poems that recall a world before the hinges broke. She refuses to read or write the final couplet of any sonnet, which is one of the most radical things you can do in a poetry class. Like if somebody tells you to write a sonnet, almost write it. And always when you turn it in, go, there. She sings uncertain villanelles that are eager with longing to melt snow. She writes careful odes and fears their dreamlike. She writes careful odes onto tiny pebbles and fears their dreamlike truth. She erases unaccented syllables because her body does not fully experience them. Maya fills in white space with dirt and roots, flowers and twigs. To make reading more dangerous, she ends each line with star thistle. So that's why, now you know why I love her. Anybody who can write poetry and end the line with star thistle, you gotta love something like that. With tenderness. In that moment before sunrise, she breaks her poems open on rocks. Sitting near a window, she dreams of wordless poems made from moonlight. And in the distance, 12 harmless butterflies interrupt Maya's poem, then fly away. Leaving her pencil on her writing tablet, Maya follows their flight. She longs to touch the space between the wings of each butterfly. The subtle curve of Maya's words, made from dirt, made from stone, from the bark of lonely pomegranate trees, she carved ancient, muddied words. She cut fairy tales from the fruit of these trees, their innocent trees, red, wet letters scrawled across her dark skin, dreaming of weeping rivers. Maya refused to form the breadth of her sentences merely from words. She mixed the pulp of pomegranates with the insides of lotus flowers. She learned those secret ways for writing on the surfaces of water. Onto the white water of the American River, Maya scribbled these lost words, a diary of her innocent travels up and down green mountain trails, familiar stories of water written directly from her tongue, her parched lips. She carried each of these stories beneath her skin, near her womb, and she listened while she wrote each sentence onto the river. Maya's tongue, her throat, her bones, her muscles, her feet, her skin. She shaped her words rooted in water through desires for raw beginnings. Maya pulled word after word from beneath her silent tongue and still tongue. A few words occasionally burned her lips before she could say them. The earthly branches